I ain't coming up short. Kevin Hot. What's up, my dude? So this is the guide to MX Simulator on casing jumps. So one thing that you need to realize before I even get into this video is that this game is meant to be realistic, okay? It's a simulator, so go out there on a real dirt bike on an actual supercross track and go purposely case a main triple and tell me how good that goes for you, dog. Okay, it's not meant to be a pleasurable experience coming up short no matter what. It's not one of those things like you're just meant to be able to do it. Like, it's not like Reflex, okay? It's not like an arcade motocross game. You're not just supposed to be able to case things and just kind of wobble out of it or be fine on the bike. Like, it's supposed to be detrimental. Like, it should knock you off of the bike, basically. So I'm on a 2014 track right now because I'm a pussy and I can't come up short on 2017 main triples, basically. Those tracks have gotten way too difficult to the point to where, like, if you come up short, you're going to crash, which I say they're too difficult. That's actually how I like it. I like it to where you can't come up short, you know, or you're going to go down. But there is levels to it in the sense of, like, most beginners probably can't come up short on these 2014 triples without crashing. You know, whereas I can do it pretty easily. So there is a bit of like levels and layers to that. The more you play the game, the more you sort of, you learn like how the bike moves when you come up short on something. And I think it all just comes down to the preciseness of how the game is. Like, you don't realize how precise you actually have to be in this game. I think a lot of beginners kind of have that problem when they come from Reflex or something where you don't even have to be precise at all. But a game like this, oh, I actually landed it right on accident. A game like this, it's probably 10 times more at least on the just precision element of how perfect you have to have the angle of the bike whenever you land a jump or whenever you come up short on a jump, you know. There's a lot of sort of theories like, do you want to land further on the back tire? Do you want to land more on the front tire and almost quote-unquote glitch it in a sense to where it's, you know, it's not going to pop you off of the bike? And I don't really know on that. I mean, for me, coming up short, about the best thing I've found to do is try to get the angle of the bike as perfectly as you can with whatever you're landing on. You know, you want both of those wheels to hit at the exact same time. Now, it's not the case for overjumping. When you overjump something and flat land it, it's better to land on that back tire because that back tire is going to take up, it's going to soak up a little bit more of it. But when you're coming up short on a jump, it's not really the case. Because if you, for instance, like, let me come over here. Oh, shit. Fucking tough blocks. God bless, I'm stuck. Okay, let's get over here. Had a little freak out moment there for a second. Okay, so, you know, just picture yourself coming up short, like, right there on the peak of that landing of that tabletop. You can't really land on your back tire on that, or you're going to do a damn Travis Pastrana TP 720 870 and kill yourself, basically, is what's going to happen right there. You know, you can't really land on your back tire. Like, let me kind of show you what'll happen if I tried to do that. Okay, let's try to land on the back tire. Oh, hey, that worked out perfectly. Just kidding. Forget everything I said. Actually, I really didn't land on the back tire very good. I didn't even actually land like on the downside of the table. I landed on top of it on accident. So let's actually get back over here to a triple, see if I can do this properly. Wow, these 2014 tracks bring back some memories for sure. Did a lot of my learning of the game on these tracks, but okay, so here's this triple. So I'm trying to land on the back tire and it'll do something like that, you know. So you can't really do that like you would flat landing something. It's not going to work the same coming up short. And I feel like, you know, it's the best. I'm coming up really short. It's just the best to try to get both of those wheels touching the dirt at the same time, and you just want to be prepared for that impact. You know, you don't want to just kind of let your hands completely off of the controller in a sense, but at the same time, you also don't want to overcorrect because then you won't land it with both wheels at the same time. You almost want to, like, right before you land, at least this is something I've learned, is you just kind of shut the bike off in a bit of a sense right before you land. You're not really on the throttle too hard. You're not really, like, preparing to, I don't know how to explain that properly. I don't know what I'm actually saying right now. How do I explain that? I don't know. You're just kind of like you're trying to get your angle right whenever you come off the jump face, you know, and then right as soon as you land, you're basically just off the throttle, and you're preparing for the impact, basically. And it's about impossible to explain what you do with the controls, because a lot of that is just how much movement you have on the bike. Like, as a beginner, you don't want very much movement or you can't learn the game. So it's going to be a lot more difficult to just get that bike the way you want it in the air, because you don't even have the right amount of movement yet. But like I'm saying, you don't even want that kind of movement yet, or you can't learn the game. So it's kind of a catch-22 in a sense. Like, you're set up in the way you probably have everything on the bikes. Oh, finally crashed on it. You know, everything you have on the bike is, and see right there, I think I was leaning all the way forward when I actually hit on that, which was a big mistake right there. I would definitely not say lean all the way forward. I'd say right at the last second, you basically just go dead on the bike. Like, you want to get your angle perfect in the air, but right before you land, you let off the throttle and pretty much just don't lean forward or don't lean back. You just want to get it like, oh, I was a little forward right there. But that's kind of tricky to do because it's all in what you do before you leave the jump face to get the angle right. So you're kind of like trying to calculate ahead of time. And a lot of times when you're coming up short on something, there was no sort of calculation. Like, that was a big mistake of calculations, what caused you to come up short. So it's a lot of it's like a last second. You just don't want to overthink it. Like, as far as like, you just really want to try to prepare for that impact. Like, you could lean forward just a little bit, just a small smidgen, and then lean back right when you land. That may help you a little to try to absorb just a little more of that impact. There really is no magic secret to it. It's just the real guide here, I guess, is the better you get at the game, the better you get at every aspect of the game. The better you get at crashing, the better you get at casing, the better you get at jumping, the better you get at controlling the bike in the air. Every little thing gets better. But I do remember as a beginner, it just felt like I would come up short on something, and every time I'd do that, I'd pop right off the bike, or I would crash, or whatever, every single time. You know, I couldn't save it. And then just the better I got, I would just start being able to save stuff better. And it really wasn't like I was putting in much more technique in my mind per se. It was more so just like muscle memory and just having learned the movement of the bike and the general mechanics of the games what helped me be able to come up short on more stuff. So, you know, that's kind of the blanketed guide to every guide in MX Simulator. Play the game more and everything gets easier. But, you know, I guess there's just no technique more so than just like, you don't be too far forward, don't be too far back, don't be wide open on the gas. I don't really think that's the best way to do it, because when you're wide open, you're more likely to be trying to lean and do all that other shit. You want to get your angle perfect in the air and then like make sure it's going to land you perfect for the landing, but then just kind of go dead on the bike. That's the best way to explain it. That's kind of the only way to explain it. But it's kind of hard to go dead on the bike in the air when you kind of feel like your angle's not going to be perfect when you do land. So then you start trying to overcorrect in the air, and it's funny because you really can't even do that. Even though you think you can, you can't. Like, you think you want it, but you don't. No, I'm just kidding. It's like, you know, you really can't do much in the air in this game. That's how realistic it is. It can feel like you can, but it's not really the case. It's all done before you leave the jump face. And in the case of like coming up short on triples, stuff like that, all that kind of little stuff, not only just big triple cases and stuff, but actually like, you know, your smaller rhythm sections, like coming up short. Let me see if I can, you know, you're kind of coming up short and then you hit this, come up short, bam, like that. You kind of learn how to maneuver that bike over all that sort of shit without it just like completely turning you off of the track every time you come up short on something. Whether it be just a small little rhythm section or whatever the case may be. Let's see if I can do it again. Like most time people will, if they come up short on something like that, they'll do like this right here, you know, and then they can't survive it. But you just learn, it's hard to explain, you just learn like the leaning, and you learn the perfectionism of how much movement you can have in this game. So you come up short on something, you'll be fine. You just kind of, you maneuver the bike, man. Like, you just get better at maneuvering that puppy. That's the only way to explain it to you, dude. But it does get easier. You know, this is one of the biggest points I was trying to make. If you're a beginner and you're like, oh my God, you know, I'm just popping off the bike, everything I come up short on. I promise you, the better you get, the more you start changing that setup, the more movement you put into that setup, the more you adjust on your rider mass distribution and your vert springs and horizontal springs and all that stuff, the more you adjust on that, the better you'll get at it, the more you just get mind muscle memory going. It really does make coming up short on everything 10 times easier. It honestly does start to feel like you're playing reflex or something once you get so good at the game. And I don't say that in a joking way, like I honestly mean that. Like, you know, what MX Simulator feels to me right now as far as how easy it is and as far as like how much I can come up short on something without crashing and all that kind of stuff, it feels identical to reflex to my mind. That's how easy MX Simulator feels now. You know how easy reflex feels to you? If you're a beginner rider or whatever, it's like, oh, dude, reflex is so easy. I can come up short on stuff. It's so, you know, whatever. That's how MX Simulator starts to feel whenever you get really good at the game, and a lot of people neglect that. They think it's never going to get easier. They think it's always going to be that hard, but that's not the case, man. That's the whole trick. You know, that's the whole key to it. Like, just don't give up. That road you've been down will be all worth it. It will get easier. Every part of the game gets easier. So either way, I appreciate you guys watching all the videos. Don't forget, I have all of my MX Simulator guide videos in a playlist on my front page. All you got to do is you know, click on my name on YouTube and it'll take you there. I've got all my playlists from MX Simulator guide videos, all my custom tracks in a playlist, all my track reviews in a playlist, all my crazy moments in a playlist, all of my wide open videos in a playlist, all of my other games in a playlist, like No Man's Sky playlist, Call of Duty playlist, MX vs. ATV playlist. Oh my God, how many times can I say playlist? I'm going to get off here, dogs. But anyways, thanks for watching the video. Later, dudes.